It's the day Trudeau resigns. 'Cause we were singing, it's about time Mr. Trudeau resigns. Spending everybody's money on vacations and flights. From the conservative truckers to your own party ties. We finally agree you did something right. 'Cause Mr. Trudeau finally resigned. There are a lot of people who are obsessed with hating Justin Trudeau and have made it their whole identity. There are also a lot of people who are obsessed with hating those Trudeau haters. And on top of that, there are people who pretend that all of this hate just doesn't exist, thinking that if they don't even mention politics, it'll somehow end the battle of hatred. And I want to ask, what is a better example for me to set? If I see this hateful tension and cower in silence, sticking my head in the sand, hoping that if I ignore it, the hate will just go away? Or should I make the art I want to make on the topic regardless of the controversy, not allowing it to silence my artistic voice? I'm an artist and a comedian, so I believe that I have a duty to talk about the things that I want to talk about, regardless of the subject, and not allow myself to be manipulated by hatred and fear. So in regards to why I made this song, Justin Trudeau's resignation is national news. His approval rating is at 22%. Most Canadians want him out of office. This is a song about a Canadian stereotype, just like all of my other music. If you believe that this song is politically biased, understand that you are projecting your political biases onto my art. And know that threatening to unfollow me will not successfully manipulate me into censoring myself to accommodate for your biases. Now I want to talk about the attacks between Trudeau haters and Trudeau supporters. Recently, I've started reading the Bible to supplement my studies on Buddhism and other spiritual philosophies I embrace, and within it, I've found some profound advice on situations just like this. Situations where hate leads to hate leads to hate, and it feels like, how are we going to bring an end to this negativity, this cycle of retaliation? I'm going to quote this advice from Matthew verses 5:38 to 43. Jesus is speaking to a crowd and he says, "You have heard it said, an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. But I tell you, do not resist an evil person. If someone slaps you on the right cheek, turn to them the other cheek also. And if anyone wants to sue you and take your shirt, hand over your coat as well. If anyone forces you to go a mile, go with them 2 miles. Give to the one who asks you, and do not turn away from the one who wants to borrow from you. You have heard it said, love your neighbor and hate your enemy, but I tell you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you, that you may be the children of your Father in heaven. He causes the sun to rise on the evil and the good, and sends rain on the righteous and the unrighteous. If you love those who love you, what reward will you get? Are not even the tax collectors doing that? And if you greet only your own people, what are you doing more than others? Do not even pagans do that? Be perfect, therefore, as your heavenly Father is perfect." End quote. It's really easy to love people who love us, who look like us and sound like us and agree with us, but when it comes to being truly positive and loving all fellow humans, most of us fall short of the standards being discussed here. Most of us will make excuses for our hate, blaming the person who we hate as though they did something to deserve it, when the reality is, if there is hate in your heart, it's because you allow it to be there. No one is controlling your thoughts and emotions except for you. So I hope this song brings you laughter and happiness, but also an opportunity to reflect. Maybe you're one of those people who's been emotionally triggered by this art, and now you have the opportunity to see that you are wrapped up in this battle of hate against hate more than you realized. So impacted that you would attempt to manipulate and censor my voice. Because if you are so afraid of controversy that you believe we should tiptoe around it, you are complicit in supporting that controversy and hate continuing. Maybe you're someone who took my art as an opportunity to indulge in hatred and send slanders towards Trudeau or his supporters. And if that's you, know that you have darkness in your heart. And that if you really want this world to become a more positive place, there is no room for these kind of attacks. Some people say F Trudeau. I say pray for Trudeau. I say pray for the prosperity and well-being of every single person on this earth. I say love the people who disagree with you and find your common ground. And even if they hurt you, you still love them because we do not love people so that we can receive love in return. We love people because we are good in our souls, because it's the right thing to do, and because at the end of the day, at the end of your life, in fact, you will know whether you behaved in the way that was right or whether you behaved in the way that was most convenient. All of us get to live with that decision, and it is a very important one. We all have the freedom to live our lives how we want to. I personally really want to focus on doing my best to make comedy, make music, and be kind to the people around me. Perhaps ask yourself what you're going to do. I love you, and I'll see you again soon. Thank you.